Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the very first DC character in my lesser-known Halloween editions. And today I'll be talking about this guy, a highly obscure character, and that is Daniel Patrick Cassidy, also known as the Blue Devil. And his first appearance was in Fury of Firestorm issue number 24 in June of 1984. And he was created by writers Gary Cohen and Dan Mishkin and artist Paris Collins. His team affiliations are the Justice League, the Sentinels of Magic, the JSA, and the Shadow Pact. His abilities are superhuman strength, durability, vision, and hearing, a healing factor of sorts. He's a highly trained martial artist and acrobat. And thanks to the acquisition of the Lucifer's Trident, he can find any demon on Earth, or can find demons on Earth, and can actually banish them back to hell. Pretty cool. Anyway, let me scroll here. He actually was originally a special insert in Fury of Firestorm number 24. However, that story led directly into Blue Devil number 1, which was also cover dated as being in June 1984. Ooh, excuse me. Anyway, Daniel Patrick Cassidy is a special effects wizard and stuntman hired to create and play the title character in the movie Blue Devil. To that end, he creates a full-body costume with a hidden powered exoskeleton and built-in special effects devices. When two of his co-stars accidentally free a demon named Nibiros, Cassidy uses his costume to drive the demon back, but not before being blasted with mystical energy. After the fight, Cassidy finds that the blast has permanently grafted the costume to his body, thus becoming a second skin of sorts. Cassidy quickly finds himself embroiled in repeated adventures and conflicts with supervillains, as his newfound status has turned him into a weirdness magnet. Never stopping to seek a way to remove his costume, Cassidy starts to enjoy his new lifestyle and becomes more and more comfortable as a superhero, even accepting a place in the JSA. Or sorry, not JSA, the JLA, the Justice League of America. He gains a sidekick of sorts named Eddie Bloomberg, his former gopher and devoted fan. Designs a suit similar to his to adventure as the Kid Devil. Eventually he moves into the House of Weirdness with Kane the Caretaker as his superintendent. The first Blue Devil series was intentionally written as a humorous and lighthearted comic story, but this lighthearted style was discarded with later appearances of the character. Blue Devil and his later alliances. Seeking more fame and thrills, Blue Devil is approached by the demon Neuron. Neuron is known for offering Faustian bargains to heroes and villains alike. He offers Cassidy fame as an actor, requiring an act of destruction as payment. He sends Cassidy to destroy an unmanned electrical substation in the desert. Believing it to be a relatively harmless act, he complies. However, he unwittingly causes the death of Eddie's Aunt Marlene, Cassidy's best friend. The story of his personal loss is enough to attract several movie offers. Opposing Neuron, Cassidy is able to partly foil the demon's short-term plans, but he dies in the process. Cassidy's death is short-lived, however, as he is restored to life as a real devil. No longer a man in an organic suit, ironically, Cassidy has been a devout Catholic, but now the Blue Devil is despised by the Catholic Church and even unable to set foot on consecrated ground without self self-immolting. Yeah, there we go. Self-immolting. Blue Devil joins the Justice League again until his second death at the hands of Mist, who showered him with holy water. Blue Devil's bones are retrieved by Sebastian Faust, the son of Felix Faust, who much later restores him again to life, seeking help to restart the fires of hell during the Day of Judgment storyline. Getting ahead of myself. Blue Devil now has the chance to confront Nibiros, empowered by a magic trident seemingly given by the King of Lies himself. Blue Devil stalls Nibiros, strips him of his trident, and allowing Firestorm to deal the killing blow. While back on Earth, the other heroes of the Sentinels of Magic save the world. Blue Devil then joins the Sentinels of Magic and partners with Faust, but it is an uneasy partnership as an apparent act of kindness. Faust restores Blue Devil's freedom by restoring to him his last missing bone. Blue Devil sacrifices his life against Hermes Trismegistus, but as a true devil he is restored to life again, tasked to roam the earth with Lucifer's trident, banishing escaped demons back to hell. Yeah, man, that's a mouthful. Here we go. 1 year later. 1 year later, Blue Devil is employed as a bouncer to the Oblivion Bar, an interdimensional place for magical beings, and he is recruited by the likes of Enchantress, Ragman, and Detective Chimp to fight against the Spectre in the Day of Vengeance storyline. With his enhanced demonic strength, he is the heavy hitter of the Shadow Pact, the assemblance of magical heroes devoted to fight for every lost cause. This grouping is even able to wound the powerful Eclipso. Feeling necessary for the first time in a long time, he devotes himself to the team. One of the goals they take on is to help look over the wild magic of the 10th Age, a direct result of the events of the Day of Vengeance. He spends the missing year trapped in River Rock, Wyoming, along with the rest of the Shadow Pack. It is a small town hidden by a blood shield by an assemblance of evil magical beings called the Pinnacle. When there he meets again, Jack of Fire, a red muscular demon. The entity is hiding a disfigured bony face under a black bandana, claiming to have been turned into a demon by the acts of Daniel, or by the actions of Daniel. He further explains that the very same moment the demonic Neron granted fame and powers to Castiel as the Blue Devil, the dead parents and siblings of Patrick were dragged from heaven to hell. From then on, Blue Devil's life begins going downhill, even in his personal timeline passed only a few days. The Enchantress was forced to steal a year of life out of every Shadow Pact member and surviving River Rock townsperson to shatter the blood barrier. As such, the entire world had long thought Shadow Pact lost. Even building a memorial statue having been considered dead for a year, Blue Devil struggles to rebuild his life. Here we go. Rebuild his life. Blue Devil is forced to confront Kid Devil, now granted metahuman powers by Neron himself, when questioned about his involvement in Marlene's death. Marlene's death. Blue Devil is forced to admit that his actions were what caused her death. Due to the terms of his deal with Neron, he would become Neron's eternal servant on his on his 20th birthday should he lose his trust in Blue Devil. And see, his eternal servant on his 20th birthday should he lose his trust in Blue Devil. Oh, there we go. Kid Devil realizes that he is now damned, having lost all trust in Blue Devil following his confession. Kid Devil, enraged, yells at Blue Devil to stay away from him and runs off, leaving a guilt-ridden Blue Devil behind. Alright, here we go. To further add misery to his condition, Blue Devil is demoted to the rank of Rhyming Demon. His new position results in a confrontation with the heroic Earth-based angel Zariel. Zauriel. And when he confronts him, his demotion is explained as the paradoxical condition of his being both a hero and a demon. Being famous and loved by everyone, he makes hell a glamorous place. Spurring weak minds to attain his glamour by selling their souls to hell. However, on behalf of his good faith, takes Blue Devil's place in the Shadow Pact, giving him enough time to get out of his infernal deal. Blue Devil puts his case in the hands of an eager lawyer, more than happy to be able to confront hell itself in a hall of justice. Blue Devil undertakes the task of completing 12 labors as Hercules before him on behalf of the Catholic Church as a show of goodwill. Returning to hell for the final hearing, he discovers that Jack of Fire was the one selling his sibling's soul first. With Blue Devil merely following unwillingly. His lawyer repeatedly proves that Jack is the only one who can return Cassidy's soul, and the souls of his family back, since he was the one who sold them in the first place. Blue Devil uses his new lower status as a rhyming demon to force Jack to do so. But in the process he loses both Lucifer's trident and his demon form, reverting back to a mortal. Jack of Fire is now allied with a seemingly all-powerful sun god, but plots to betray him in retaliation for his harsh treatment and to lead an army of demons on Earth. Cassidy feels forced to don a new suit of armor very similar to the one he wore during his Hollywood days. But even more powerful, he sets off to fight his brother who refuses. Instead, after a brief confrontation, acknowledging that the sun god will eventually kill him for his betrayal, he commits suicide in front of Cassidy, naming him inheritor of all his powers and demonic status, but without forfeiting his soul. Cassidy rejoins Shadow Pact to defeat the sun god, and Zariel ends his temporary membership with the group. Blue Devil is seen as part of Alan Scott's superhero army in Final Crisis number 5 of December of 2008. There we go. Let's see. Alan Scott's army in Final Crisis number 5, December 2008. Oh, here we go. During the Rain in Hell storyline, Cassidy convinces Zatanna and Sargon the Sorcerer. Sargon the Sorcerer to take him to hell and accompany him as to make a deal with Lord Satanus against Neuron. When, after much suffering, they reach Satanus, he pleads to be incorporated into Satanus' attack force in hopes of receiving the gift of full humanity from the demon in case of his victory. Inadvertently, there we go, he brags about being capable of handling Etrigan, who is causing damage to Satanus' forces. Satanus takes heed of this and teleports him to do battle with Etrigan. Upon losing, the demon steals the remains of his humanity. Later, due to the effects of the magical drug Satanus has released all over Hell, he is transformed into a human but soulless. Etrigan, now transformed into a replica of Jason Blood, offers him his soul back, warning him the drug only worked on pure blood demons, such as the type he had been transformed into when Etrigan stole his soul. Meaning, accepting it back meant returning to his demon shape forever. He is later traumatized by Sargon's sacrifice to let almost all heroes intervening in the War of Hell escape to Nada Parbat, and is later the only one convinced of reuniting the Shadow Pact by Detective Chimp. His most recent appearance was with Zatanna and the Phantom Stranger at the desecrated grave of Batman in Blackest Night. In typical fashion, he cracks that the stranger brought them there to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That changes when Black Rings take control of Crispus Allen. While Zatanna was sent to gather the Justice League, Blue Devil and the Stranger attempt to stop the Black Lantern Spectre, failing miserably. He and the Stranger head for Nada Parbat, where the Stranger helps Deadman Deadman remove the Black Ring from his body. Blue Devil remove the Black Ring from his body. There we go. Blue Devil is then tasked by the Stranger to protect the body, being told it is of singular importance. And that's it, guys. That is the origin of Blue Devil. That was quite a lot of information there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And on to the final character in this lesser known Halloween edition. So stay tuned.